Hello there, and a very warm welcome to the community of Divine Love. My name is Jason Bryce, and I'm from Synergy Reiki Studio. And it's my honour and pleasure to be here this morning to guide you through a little meditation I've created for the solar and lunar eclipse that we are currently experiencing today. So today is the day of the lunar eclipse, and tomorrow is the full moon. And we've had Mercury in retrograde in the mix as well. Mercury went into retrograde last week, of course, so we've got a lot of planetary influences at the moment. Of course, we had a solar eclipse just 2 weeks ago, just over 2 weeks ago now, and that was already shifting some stuff for all of us. You see, the eclipse energies are really all about aligning us with our path, getting us right back on our soul path and path of our heart, so that we're aligned. So it will bring things up from time to time, and it may create some change, but that change is at a soul level so that we can then adjust our behaviors and be on our path with full integrity. So perceive it as something positive this morning. I understand that many of us, especially as intuitives and empaths, will really be feeling that energy. And in many regards, we're holding the energy of the planet just now. So the lovely healers and the channel here, Patricia's channel, and throughout the land, and of course the world today, are doing a lot of real healing and holding space for the planet and its resonance to go up. I will mention one other little thing in terms of energetics that have been influencing us lately. I would say solar flare activity is really high. We've had a lot of major solar flares, we've had sunstorms, and essentially the sun's just letting out energy. We're into solar cycle 25 now. And although we were in solar minimum about 2.5 years ago, we're very steeply and exponentially rising towards the peak of the solar cycle. It might have two peaks, but it's taken us all a little bit by surprise. I follow the space weather, and it's really ramped up much quicker than NASA or anyone had predicted. So we're entering into a phase of very high solar activity at the moment. And when we have solar flares or solar storms, and there was quite a lot of activity yesterday, you might have felt that, but in particular, most weeks actually, during the last 2 months, we've had some pretty major solar activity. If you're an intuitive or an empath, you might just feel that. Sometimes it feels akin to anxiety or feeling a little bit irritated. What I'm going to do is just give you a little guide to what you could be releasing and working with us today. Mercury in retrograde always affects communication, so somehow the link hasn't appeared and I'm here myself, but I'll have this video uploaded as soon as I'm complete, put it on my YouTube channel. You're always welcome to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I've got two, but Jason's Journeys is the meditative YouTube channel where you'll find lots of interesting meditations to that each and every month. But Mercury being in retrograde, computers, communications, there is often issues with things like that. Plans change at the last minute. So here I am myself. I was hoping that you would be with me and I could actually guide you through two things in particular to do a little bit of theta healing with you. But I think it will work quite well if you just watch this and do it on your own. But before we get started with our meditation, because that's what we're going to do, a special theta healing meditation that I've created for the eclipses. Let me just tell you some of the things that you might want to consider today. And with the full moon tomorrow, I would continue to work on this stuff. I would maybe replay the meditation part of this video. I would replay that maybe a couple of times and choose a few different examples each time you do it. So with the lunar eclipse and the full moon, which is going to be in Scorpio, so it's quite deep. It's quite deep. It's really kind of highlighting areas of the self that we've repressed, that we've pushed out the way, that we may have dissociated from. So parts of us that we don't really want to acknowledge. Carl Jung called that the shadow, of course. If you think of the 8 archetypes of the mind, one of them, being the self, one of them being the persona, what we show the world. There's a little bit of a mask there as well, to be honest with you. But the shadow is that part of ourselves that we just don't want to take responsibility for. We don't want to acknowledge. We think it's deep and it's dark, but we're human beings and we all have many aspects to our shadow. Carl Jung identified the hero as well, you know, and I'm sure everyone watching this is a hero, that we are spiritual warriors, if you like. So there's many aspects of the mind, many aspects of the personality in ourselves. And here we're making peace. We're making peace. We're connecting, making peace, and releasing that aspect of the self from the shadow. Things never go away. Let's face it. You can put something in a box and bury it, but just because it's out of sight doesn't mean it's out of mind. Literally, it's within the subconscious mind. So we can do our best to dig big holes, put things in boxes and put chains around them and padlocks on them. Do not go in there. Do not enter. We can do that all we want. That's dissociation. But it continues to influence us. It might be subtle, or it might be quite apparent in relationships and in any aspect of our life. Actually, this eclipse is allowing us to deal with anything that has happened since 2004. So just have a wee think back where you were in 2004. I remember myself working for the college, being a lecturer, working for the SQA, being a principal assessor. I remember it being a very happy and busy time in my life. The college that I worked in opened in 2000. I worked at a different college before that. So there was this new building syndrome going on. It was really lovely. And it was just such a buzz back then. But anything that's happened since then, and we're talking about 18 years ago, so I'm sure a lot of water has flowed by the bridge in this space of time. So we're potentially working with anything here that has happened since 2004. And with the lunar eclipse, with it being in Scorpio, I've identified 5 things that you might want to consider here. Anything that you avoid, anything that you've been avoiding is maybe worth considering in this meditation today. Anything that's created fear over those almost 2 decades, anything, a pattern of fear that comes back. It could be a new one. It could be due to what's going on in the world at the moment, of course. But any fear that's been in your life. And remember, a fear is an untruth. So it's quite nice to expose fears into the light rather than keep them buried in your mind, where they seem very real. The subconscious mind, well, it doesn't discern between fact. It just takes information as a fact. So it doesn't have discernment. Our conscious mind discerns, but subconscious mind has no discernment. So if there's a fear there, your subconscious mind feels that fear to be very real, and it will influence you. It might hold you back. You may withdraw a little bit because of that fear. You may be less of your shining light. It may make you self-doubt, for example, as well. So avoidance, fear. Another one is confusion. Anything that you've been feeling confused about, especially if it's yourself or relationships or anything, of course. You may consider that in your practice today with us as we collectively do it. And anything that involves judgment. And I think judgment's a great example. Most of us don't respond that well to judgment, do we? And human beings have this habitual tendency to have to be right or wrong, and preferentially right. It's one of our major social drivers to be right, to be correct. We don't want to feel wronged or wrong. So judgment is when something's right or wrong, essentially good or bad. And we've all been exposed to judgment from the beginning of our time on Earth, of course. And judgment can have quite an effect on how we are around other people, and can influence success and all sorts of stuff. So it might be that you're working on your own self-judgment. Many spiritual people abstain from judging others and try to live the lives like that. However, we may be our own best critic. So that's worth a little visit. If judgment's been coming up for you, and the retrograde will be showing you all the stuff that's been coming up. If you can relate to any of these things, I'm going to ask you to choose two in particular that we're going to work with. Exhaustion would be the fifth one. Exhaustion, if you're feeling exhausted, if you're feeling weary and you're feeling tired, then this energy, let's delve into it and let's allow ourselves to release it. I would always say when I'm coaching and when I'm doing some theta healing, and if there were quite a few of us together, we would be discussing this in a wee bit more detail. But I would also, just to consider, when did this start? Whether it's the avoidance, fear, confusion, judgment, or exhaustion, when did it start? What was going on before that? Just before it began, or what was going on when these emotions appeared? It's always useful to look at what was happening in your life then, because the chances are, of course, that created the avoidance, or the fear, the judgment, and so on. I would also always ask, and it feels like a tough question, but how did it serve you? Those feelings that happened, how did it serve you at the time? So sometimes we get ill, for example, and although we don't want to be ill, and although I try and help people to be well, that's my job, I would always look at, well, how did that illness serve you? And hoping that no one ever takes offense at that question, we dig into it. Because it may be the illness allowed you to feel a little bit safer or protected or comforted by others. You got more support from other people round about you. People paid attention to you, for example. And in some ways, that serves us or it helps us in some way. But what we do in coaching and when I'm doing one-to-one theta healing sessions is we separate that. So, we would show you that you can feel supported, you can feel loved without the illness. So this is why I always dig into that one. How did it serve you? And I ask that very, very frequently. So we're thinking, how did that avoidance serve us? Did it make us feel that we could have a little bit of peace, a little bit of time to ourselves? Could we escape from the world a little bit? Could we pull the duvet right over our heads and not bother getting up? Perhaps, if you've had migraine, for example, maybe that's how a migraine served you. You had a bit of time to yourself and you could just disappear and chill out. So we show you that you can chill out and have time to yourself without migraine. So how it served you is a very important aspect because we can release you from the illness or the condition, the avoidance, the fear, the confusion, the judgment, the exhaustion. Okay, next one. What did I learn from that? We're going to consider that. What did I learn? Because if we learn the lessons, then we can learn the lessons without having to go back into that state. We can release ourselves from the circumstances because we've learned what we should learn from that situation. So I'll definitely be doing a wee bit of that in our meditation. And I would also say, what would happen if you gave it up? What would it feel like if you gave up the avoidance, the fear, the confusion, the judgment, the exhaustion? What would happen? You can consider that, of course, where we're doing our meditation, and I'll guide you through this. But one more little bit of information from you. You can work on anything here. You can choose anything you like. We're trying to release it. We're trying to release it safely. And we will release it safely because we're going to go into a theta state to do that. We're going to connect with the divinity. We're going to connect with God, Goddess, Creator, all that is. And we're going to go into that theta brainwave where we can access the subconscious mind. I'll be in a theta brainwave as well. I'll be doing lots of healing with you. And I'll frequently say, because I'm on my own here, if you would like that, say yes to yourself. And then I'm connecting with you, despite the fact you're watching this at a different time, and allowing the energy to help clear that stuff for you. So you're doing it yourself, but I'm supporting you. I'm holding your space today and just allowing a little bit more magic to come in. So you can work on anything you like. I've got another 8 little points here very quickly. Anything outdated? Anything that no longer serves you? That could be something that you're clearing today in our meditation. What are you ready to let go of? Eclipses always show us what we're ready to let go of. What can you no longer tolerate? What change would you like in your life? What would it be like to end, to end something so that something new can begin? What would you like to end so that something new can begin? Put my teeth in and say it properly. What attachments or blocks are you ready to let go of? Something that you might want to consider. If this was New Year's Eve, what would your resolution be? Maybe that's what you're trying to achieve today in this meditation. What would make you more comfortable? Always when we have the eclipses, especially the last one, it's about really thinking about what would make you more comfortable. And I would really consider that today, what would make you more comfortable in life? Because we can always change and adjust our life. Would you change any habits? Are there any habits that are outdated? Are you ready to let go of something that you've been doing for a while that might have served you at the time, may have had its function and its purpose at the time, but you're in a different space now? And it can be any habit at all, something that you just do habitually, essentially. So lots and lots and lots to consider there. I'm going to suggest that you have a little break so that we can come in fresh and do our meditation. And what we're going to do is just take some deep breaths, fully energize the body, connect with the earth, take our energy up into divinity, go into the theta state. And then we're going to consider two things. We're going to work with two things. And you can replay the video and consider more things if you like, if it aligns with you. And if you need any advice, to reach me, send me a message, please, to Synergy Reiki Studio, and I'll be able to answer any questions and help you on your journey. I hope you have a really good experience with it. Hope you enjoyed the introduction as well. And we're going to have a wee break, get a little stretch, get yourself a glass of water, maybe get yourself a blanket and perhaps light a candle, set your intention. You want to release and let go. Have a wee think of what you want to release and let go of during your break. And we'll see you back in 2 minutes' time. Thank you. Hello and welcome back. I hope you enjoyed your little break and considering something that you want to release. So I just thought there, for the simplicity of this video, I would deal with one thing and allow you just to replay the video if you want to work with a number of things. So I would be likely to choose anything that no longer serves you, as we said, anything that's outdated, but in particular, if there's anything that you're avoiding, anything that's causing fear, confusion, judgment, or exhaustion, then that would be very aligned with the current astronomy. So we're going to begin by taking a few slow and deep, full body breaths. If you like to close your eyes and just connect with yourself and your body, feel the energy in your body for a moment, feel your presence on the chair, and take a moment to feel the support that the chair is giving you right now. If your feet are on the ground, allow your feet to really connect with the earth. Just imagine that they're gently sinking into the earth. And invite you to relax your tummy and take some full body breaths, breathing deep into the tummy, observing it expand and soften with the in-breath. And as you exhale through your mouth, allow your jaw and all the muscles of your body to completely relax. Taking a few slow, deep breaths into the tummy, following the breath in through the nostrils and out through the mouth. Breathing deep into your tummy, deep into your center, allowing all tensions to be released with the out breath, allowing our bodies to relax, feeling all the muscles to be soft and supple. If you're holding on to any tension this morning, just imagine that you're breathing directly into that tension until it feels softer within a few breaths. And we continue to take those full body breaths, breathing deep into our center for a few more moments. And taking a moment again to feel your feet on the ground. Let's imagine this morning that a taproot has grown from each foot, a big, strong taproot, like a dandelion root. And I invite you to take a nice deep breath. And as you exhale, just imagine that you're pushing your roots down, they're growing down through the foundations, down into the earth below. Imagine your roots now growing through the soil and really starting to permeate the harder soils, the rocks of the earth, the crystals, the minerals. Imagining your roots going through all the layers of the earth into the very heart of Mother Earth this morning. And I invite you to take a few breaths now and imagine that you're breathing in through your roots. You're pulling the earth energy up into your body with each in breath. Taking a few deep breaths to really pull that energy up into your body. You may notice it in your feet becoming tingly. It often feels cool and viscous, almost like your feet are in a puddle. Keep breathing and imagine that you're pulling the energy up into your legs, up into the strong thigh muscles, into the thigh bones. Imagine that you're pulling that energy up into your hips, relaxing your hips and your legs. And imagine now that energy is flowing into the base of your spine, automatically flowing up the spine, up through the vertebrae and through the chakras. Just imagine that you're pulling the energy all the way up your spine, into your sacral, your solar plexus, your heart, up into your throat. Imagine you pulling that energy all the way up into your brow, your third eye, and up to your crown. That's wonderful. And feel that strong connection between yourself and the earth below. I invite you to take another deep breath, pulling the energy in one go now from the center of the earth all the way up to your crown. As the chakras open. And we're going to do that one more time. Another deep breath, pulling the earth energy from the center, the heart of Gaia, all the way up to our crown. And as you exhale, just imagine that energy flowing out your crown just now, like a fountain of energy to surround your body in a beautiful, colourful, and protective bubble. Take a moment to notice the texture of your bubble, the energy all around you just now. It may feel tingly and sparkly, and notice if you can observe any colour or colours this morning. Making that intention that we're going to connect with divine, and we're going to take our consciousness and connect directly with the creator, of the divine energy of the universe. Imagine that you're pushing your awareness up and you're gently rising in your bubble up to your ceiling. Imagine that you're pushing up through the roof, above your home, above your town. Imagine that you're rising into the sky, going beyond the clouds. And imagine now that you're traveling up through the universe and the stars are whizzing by you, like being on a Star Trek voyage. You may see colours, constellations, sacred geometry, feeling the energy, just imagining that you're traveling up through the universe. Imagine that you're going through darker skies with less stars, and you're pushing up through more bright, starry skies. Imagine now that you're going up through a golden hue of energy, like a golden mist. And now imagine that you're pushing up through some jelly-like substance, any colour, any texture. The jelly substance represents the laws of the universe. So becoming one with all. Imagine that you're pushing yourself up through the jelly substance, and above your head just now, there's a skylight with a pearly iridescent white light. Imagine that you're pushing yourself up through that skylight and into this divine space of love and peace, the pearly iridescent white light. Imagine now that you're traveling to the center of this light, like traveling to the center of the sun. And take a moment to relax and take a breath. Breathe this beautiful energy in. Know that you're one with the sacred, you're one with divinity, and divinity and the sacred is one with you. Take a moment just to feel your body expand in this beautiful space of unconditional love and peace. Beautiful. Imagine that there's a lovely, comfortable chair in this space and you're seated, feeling very comfortable, very light, and very relaxed just now. And I'd like you to imagine that you've got a rucksack. And this mental, emotional, spiritual rucksack is the stuff that we carry, but it's almost like a shadow rucksack today. So we're going to have a little look in our rucksack to see if we can find something that no longer serves us, something that's outdated, or something that's created avoidance, fear, confusion, judgment, or exhaustion. I'd like you to imagine that you're pulling something out of your rucksack that no longer serves you, that you're pulling out the avoidance, the fear, the confusion, the judgment, the exhaustion, or whatever no longer serves you. And imagine that you're pulling that out and you're placing it in front of you just now. Take a moment just to consider what that energy feels like. The energy of the avoidance, fear, confusion, judgment, or exhaustion, whatever you choose. Just noticing what that energy feels like. Is it heavy? Is it dense? Does it have an appearance, a colour, a smell, a taste? Is it dark? Is it treacle-like? Or is it very heavy? Is it very energetically charged? Who's pulling this situation out of the rucksack and placing it in front of you just now? Now, whatever you've chosen, let's drop any mental identification with it. And for just a few moments, let's go into our body and scan our body just to see where we're holding on to that energy. So it may be around your head. If there's any invalidation going on, it will be around your head. If there's any irritation, it could be around your sinuses. It could be at your throat, if it's a communication thing. It could be your neck, if it's something that's made you feel inflexible. You could be carrying it in your shoulders, or you may feel it in your arms because it's kind of hard to hold that experience of life. You may feel that energy in your heart or your chest if it pertains to love, or it's made you feel somewhat anxiety. If you're an intuitive, you may feel it in your solar plexus. You may feel it in your digestive system. Scanning the body just to see where you're holding this energy. It may be your upper, middle, lower back if it relates to anything to do with support. perhaps guilt. It's to do with finances, you may feel it in the bottom of your spine. You may hold that energy in your buttocks, your legs, or your feet. And I'm just encouraging you to take a few moments to notice where you feel that energy, and without thinking about it, just breathing in to the feeling. Let yourself feel it for a few moments and breathe into that feeling until you feel it soften and you feel the energy beginning to flow in a more positive way, tingly, sparkly energy. Keep breathing in to wherever you're holding that tension, wherever you're holding that emotion, until it becomes softer. Breathing into the feeling until it dissolves and resolves. If you still feel that energy in your body, and even if you don't, I'd like you to imagine that you're pulling that energy out now, like pulling out some weeds. You're pulling that energy out by the roots. And imagine that you're pulling it out from wherever you're holding it in your body. And in fact, you're pulling it out of every cell of your body. You're pulling out the cellular memory of this, pulling it out like weeds. It may be in the chakras, wherever it is. You can literally pull it out your body just now and just place that energy in front of you. We're going to evoke Archangel Michael's name. We're going to ask Archangel Michael to come in just now and use his blue flaming sword to cut the cords, to cut the ties, to cut the connections, to clear this energy from your entire body. And Archangel Michael right now is taking care of that for you and placing all that energy in front of you. And we're going to evoke the name of Saint Geraint, keeper of the purple violet flame. And we're going to ask that the purple violet flame takes care of all that energy that Michael's cut from you, cleared from you, that you've taken out your rucksack, and transform it, transmute it with the purple violet flame and send it to the light. So just witnessing that clearing from you just now. And we're just going to consider a few things just now. First of all, what was happening when this energy began? Where did it start? Just gently considering that in your mind. What I'm going to do here just now is send lots of unconditional love, using theta healing, to that situation. I'm going to ask that the Creator clears any trauma from your body just now connected to that situation and clears the cellular memory of it. And we're going to ask that that be sent to the light as love and replaced with unconditional love throughout your whole body and mind. And if you'd like to consider for a moment if there were any ways that that served you, that it served you to feel like that, did it make you feel safer somehow or bring you comfort, support, love, attention? Did it give you time to yourself? And just considering how that served you. I'm going to do a healing. If you would like it, please say yes in your mind to show you what it feels like to have the safety, the comfort, the support, the attention, the love, whatever it was that served you without the situation. Again, just witnessing that healing flowing through. If you're saying yes, this will flow to you. Let's consider what that situation taught you, what it's been teaching you. It may be that it's one of your things in this lifetime, one of the things that you've chosen to work with in this lifetime. If that being the case, may I do a healing and ask that any historical or ancestral past life stuff, lessons be learned and complete and resolved just now to free you from having to experience this again and again and again. And if you're thinking about what it's taught you, the lessons that you've learned through it, let's show you that you can have that without the lesson. And just say yes again in your mind if you'd like me to do that theta healing. And now considering what would happen if I gave it up? If I gave up the avoidance, the fear, the confusion, the judgment, the exhaustion, or whatever no longer serves me, what would happen? If you'd like to consider that for a moment. Let's show you through theta healing, just say yes, that you can have that without having to experience the avoidance, the fear, the confusion, the judgment, the exhaustion, or whatever no longer serves you. If you gave it up, it may allow freedom, growth, peace, clarity, love, hope, fun, self expression, adventure, self compassion, power, respect, and courage, for example. And I'll be downloading all those at the end of this meditation. I'd like you just to imagine just now that your situation has completely resolved. Imagine what that would feel like. Imagine it has completely resolved in every level in this moment now. And have a little think of why you're grateful to have this situation resolve in full in this moment now. And as we cultivate gratitude, let's thank the situation for the lesson it's taught us so that we can be free, we can let it go. That's beautiful. And let's just take one more moment to scan the body to see if we're holding on to anything else before we ask the creator of all that is to completely take care of all of this. Just noticing if you're still holding on to any of that tension, noticing your energy, gently scanning your body. Just breathe into any remaining tension, just the remnants of it, just clearing from you just now. And if you would like an instant healing just now, just to completely resolve whatever you've been working on this very special eclipse day, just say yes. And I have a few downloads for you. If you wish to receive them, just say yes after each download. Let's show you what it is to feel safe. Let's show you what it feels like to be yourself. Let's show you what it feels like to let go and know that it's possible to let go. Let's show you what it feels like to have self compassion. that you know when and how to in the highest and best ways in all areas of your life. Let's show you what it feels like to forgive yourself and others. Let's show you what freedom feels like, and that you know what it is to be free, you know when and how to feel free in all areas of your life. Let's show you what it feels like to live your life without struggle. Let's show you what growth feels like, and that we can grow in all areas in our life with ease and with grace. Let's show you what peace feels like, what it is to feel peaceful. Let's show you what clarity feels like. Like these downloads, just say yes. Let's show you what it feels like to live your life without confusion. What it feels like to live your life without fear. That we're able to see the truth in all things. Let's show you what it feels like to live without avoiding. What it feels like to live without judging ourselves and others. What it feels like to live without feeling judged. That you can accept yourself for who you are, and that you give other people permission to accept you for who you are. What it feels like to be honoured and respected. And show you what it feels like to have energy and live without feeling exhausted. A few more left. Just say yes if you'd like them. Let's show you what it feels like to feel powerful and to be in your own power. Let's download what grace feels like, and that we can live our life gracefully. Let's show you what it feels like to have courage, and that we've got the courage to face a shadow or face the stuff that we've been repressing, that we've got the courage to do what really makes our heart sing. Courage is action in the presence of fear, of course. But let's show you what it feels like to be brave, where we just simply feel that energy without any fear. We feel courage without fear. Just allowing all those little downloads settle in. Well done, everyone, especially for delving into something that you have previously disconnected from. Just take a few breaths and allow that energy to flow through you. I like you to imagine just now that you're in your beautiful bubble of light, in that pearly iridescent white light, in the diamond field of energy. And imagine that you're bringing some of that energy home with you. And imagine that you're gently falling back down through the jelly substance and into the universe. And imagine the stars whizzing by you. Imagine the darker skies with less stars and traveling through more bright starry skies. Imagining a rainbow of energy shining in your beautiful bubble as you travel through the universe. With all the colours of the spectrum, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, ultraviolet, balancing all your chakras. Imagine that you can see the beautiful blue planet on the horizon and this glorious May Day with her magnificent sceneries and landscapes, snow-capped mountains, forests, beautiful oceans, seas. Imagine that you're coming down through any clouds back into the crisp sky. Imagine that you're coming down now, just above your home, back into that space. Really take a few moments to keep your eyes closed and feel connected to the chair and the ground below. Let's take a deep breath together. And as we exhale, imagine that we're sending our energy back down through our roots again for a little energy break, just to ground the energy in. And imagine that your energy is flowing through the soil, all the layers of the earth, into the heart of Mother Earth. And then imagine that you're taking a few breaths in through your roots again, breathing that energy up into your body, feeling that coolness, that tingliness, feeling that flow into your feet, up into your legs, into the thigh bones, the hips, into the base of your spine, feeling that energy just flow automatically through all the chakras and vertebrae up to your crown. Imagine the energy's flowing across your shoulders, down your arms, and out of your hands. And please take your time to come back to. And any questions or anything, just let me know. On Synergy Reiki Studio on Monday tomorrow, we'll be doing a little bit of fun manifesting for the full moon. So if you're interested in that, send me a message to Synergy Reiki Studio. We're going to have an hour of fun using the full moon energy to help us harness something that we really want. So today we're clearing, tomorrow we are manifesting. Sometimes we have to clear space to allow something to come into our lives. Well done, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this recording. Feel free to comment. Thanks for joining us, and have a blessed and beautiful day, beautiful eclipse. And if I see any comments, I will send some healing to you later on today, as I will be sending to everyone and the planet on this special day. Thanks for joining us here at the Divine Community of Love, and it's been so lovely. Thanks for Patricia for inviting me on again this morning. My love to everyone. Have a great day. See you soon, and bye for now.